Welcome to our annual informational webinar for LEAP, Legal Education Access Pipeline. My name is Cindy Lopez, and we already have a heart. I am the founder of LEAP. We are going to hopefully get all of this information out to you in minutes, and that includes time for Q&A. So I want to make sure, we love for people to be chatty in the chat. But if you have a question, can you put it in the Q&A that I don't see the Q&A on here? Okay. Huh. Yeah, I don't see a Q&A. Well, that's a bummer. So I guess you're going to be putting it in. See, people are already starting to be. Oh, does it go under more? Yeah. Okay. Well, this is not a good start. Yeah, there's no. Oh, here's a Q&A. Okay, can you guys see a Q&A? Yes, awesome. All right, thank you. And hello, everybody. Thank you for being so friendly, and sorry about that little tech thing. We could not have a Zoom webinar without something techie going weird. So really quickly, I'm going to have our fellows and Lila introduce themselves, and then they're going to each talk about a different aspect of LEAP, but let me just have them go. So Reagan, you're the first one on here.
Hi guys, my name is Reagan. I graduated from UCLA as a member of the class of 2025, and now I work full-time.
And Charlie's next.
Hi everyone, my name is Charlie. I just graduated from UC Berkeley and I currently work at the National Center for Youth Law.
Okay, so we have Bruins and Bears. Those are usually the high ones. Trinity?
Adding on to the Bruins. Hi, everyone. My name is Trinity. I graduated from UCLA last year in June 2025.
Kit Kat?
Hi all, I'm Kit Kat. I graduated from Chapman University in 2021.
We'll skip Lila for a second. Elvia?
Hi everyone, I'm actually a Trojan, so I'm still a senior at USC this upcoming year, and I'm majoring in psychology and legal studies.
And then last but not least, Lila.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laya Mendoza. I graduated a while back. I am the program coordinator for LEAP and excited to meet you all.
Okay, I'm going to do, I know that a lot of you attend webinars and you get a little bit fatigued. So again, we like interaction. So I love all this stuff in the chat. But I'm going to see if this works. If it doesn't work, I'm doing a poll. So question 1. Okay. So what's your college status? A junior, a senior? Oh my goodness, you guys are already doing it. Okay. Or none of the above. Whoa. Oh my gosh, this is, okay, I'm sorry. This is very impressive that so many of you are answering it right away. Okay, I'm just gonna, wow, okay. Let me see. I'm just gonna wait another couple seconds. I love doing polls. All right, I'm ending the poll. Okay, I'm gonna share the results. Can you all see that? So, okay, this makes sense. 11% of you juniors, 14 senior, and then 71% college grads. That's kind of what, and then none of the above is 4%. So that, I'm kind of curious. If you're none of the above, can you put in the chat, like, what is your status? I'm curious about that. But that seems, I don't know, Lila, that seems kind of accurate for what the cohort ends up being, right? Yeah, okay. All right, good. Oh, the poll worked. Okay, Lila, go ahead. Oh, community college sophomore. Okay. So this is great because although you're not ready yet to apply, it's great that you're coming to this webinar so that you can be ahead of the game next year. All right, Lila, go ahead and you can share.
Wonderful. Here we go, everybody. So to get us started, This is what we'll be reviewing. So who it is that we are as an organization, what it is that we do, and then we'll talk some logistics, application timeline, what are we looking for, and then we'll open it up for questions from the audience. So Cindy, take it away with what inspired you to bring this program together.
Well, and I want to say, while we're talking, don't forget to put things in the Q&A, which, why am I not seeing it again? Okay, I'm not seeing it again. All right. Oh, there it is. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, see, we already have questions. So the fellows will try to answer your questions, and then what they don't answer, we will answer later. I am a partly first generation college student. My dad went to college, my mom did not, but I was raised by my mom, single mom. She couldn't help me with college because, with my college application, definitely no one in our family had gone to law school. So I thought, let me help students like me who don't know anything about the law school application process. And I knew nothing. I wish we had LEAP when I was going to law school or when I was applying. While I was at I was at the Attorney General's office my entire career. I don't think any of you will ever be at one place your entire career, but I highly recommend the AG's office. It was great. At one point, I worked for Kamala Harris. At another, I worked for our future governor, Javier Becerra. Yes, that was a political statement. Sorry about that. And while I was there, I helped develop a college access program for an organization called MOST. We helped underserved girls get into college. I got great experience with that. And I decided when I retired from the AG's office, let me start something for law school, but not just for girls, for men and women. And that's how LEAP came into being. And we've been around since 2019. Can't even believe it. And we are going into our 8th cohort. So cohort 7, which is what all these fellows are in, is almost just ending. And you all will be applying to cohort 8, which is just unbelievable to me. All right.
Wonderful. So, an overview of what it is that we do. The fellows will each talk about their experiences in these different buckets, but what we provide includes monthly workshops. So, once a month, we come together and we meet and we go over different aspects of the application process. We introduce you to different practice areas by way of panels. We provide soft skills as well. We don't just want you to be able to apply to college. We want you to have the right mindset. We also want you to be able to think like a lawyer and also start preparing your pitch, your presentation, all that good stuff. And we supplement that with LSAT test prep. So this part of our programming is virtual. The monthly workshops are in person. You do meet once a month in person. There are no exceptions to that. And the LSAT test prep is part of our virtual programming. So that takes place for a very long time. You'll get more details on that from our fellows in a bit. But you commit your weekends. Your weekends are going to be pretty busy as part of this program. And so we want you to already have a sense of that and understanding of that before you apply, because we want you to take this commitment very seriously. Think of it as like a mini part-time job or an extra class that you're taking on if you're still in school. But the test prep is really helpful. We hold you accountable. It's a way to stay on top of everything. You won't always love us for it, but I think you'll appreciate it once you're on the other end of it. And there's also attorney mentorship. So that's really great because if you're first gen, chances are you may not be surrounded by attorneys. You may have had exposure or maybe the most positive exposure to attorneys based on your experiences. And so this is really an opportunity to learn from someone who's already in the field, who maybe has been doing this for some time. It may not always necessarily be in the practice area that you're interested in, but it's still really good to have exposure to someone who's in the field. Likewise, we offer law student mentorship. So that's really great as well. That's a more a near peer experience. So someone who's recently been in your shoes can still relate to the experiences that you're going through right now, the stressors, all that good stuff. They can relate to all of that. And then there's the pre-L boot camp. So this is for those fellows who have already been accepted into law school, we provide additional programming. You can think of this as a summer bridge program. So we want to level out the playing field as much as possible for our fellows. And so we want you to be able to show up on day one of law school and have as less stress as possible. And so that means preparing you as much as possible. So this is another component of our program. Although we market ourselves as like a 9-month fellowship, it really extends to about a year and a half if you include the pre-L boot camp. And with that, I will turn it over to Elvia so she can tell you a little bit more about the workshops.
Yes, hi guys again. And I just moved into a new place, so I'm still figuring out if my Wi-Fi is laggy or not. So Lila and Cindy, please stop me if I completely just cut off. But yes, so the monthly workshops. Honestly, this is one of my favorite parts about LEAP. It's huge because yes, a lot of the program is virtual slash asynchronous, but this is really the place where you have to make sure that you are going to be able to attend in person because these workshops are once a month and they're pretty much the full day on Saturday. And we have a total of 8 workshops throughout the 9 months. And don't worry too much about, oh, well, what if I can't make one? Or what if I'm busy on this specific Saturday and it's a non-negotiable? Lila and Cindy will send the schedule really early in advance. And it's like a breakdown of it, the exact dates. They will send you full calendars. So you'll know really far in advance. And yeah, that I think that's what I want to say mostly about the logistics part of it. And then, yeah, the curriculum, a big part of it is understanding and successfully completing each element of the law school application, which is huge because, as some of you already may know, LEAP has partnerships with Spivey and consulting so that they come into these workshops and then they explain the parts of the application that really are super important. Like we get personal statement reviews. We get reviews on like even interviews for when we do get to that part of the application for law school. And yeah, so these are super, super helpful. And another thing is professionalism and just excelling in law school in general. So we do also get panels in these workshops from attorneys that are in every sector of the legal field that you can think of. So we've gotten like big law attorneys, we've gotten public law attorneys who come and speak about their experience and really give us an insight on the different types of the legal sectors. I think me being first gen, I'm also DACA and an immigrant. I honestly had no idea of many of the different parts of the law until like, Leap really demystified that for me. Like I didn't know there was so much that goes into the government law aspect of everything, and it really made me interested in wanting to learn more and wanting to just also practice my networking skills with these attorneys because they're all like volunteering their time for these workshops. They all really want to uplift the Leap cohort and make sure that they're there to support them. So that's another thing that always stands out from the workshops. And the big thing too, to always network with the attorneys after. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say. And then last thing is that not only is this like huge on demystifying the information that we don't really get to hear, but also the community building within the workshops. Every single person that's going to be in this workshop is extremely motivated to apply to law school, and they're extremely it's so inspiring, honestly. And Cindy and Lilac take such a long time picking and deciding who is going to be in the cohort that honestly has motivated me so much to push forward and continue through this application. And I'm so excited for this next cohort. And then, yeah, I think that's it for the workshops for right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elvia. And next up to tell you a little bit more about just the LSAT test prep and what that entails is Reagan.
Hi guys, thank you again for coming to chat with us. I'm going to talk to you all about the LSAT. So first off, as a condition of LEAP, you must take the August LSAT. We just survived it and lived to tell the tale, so fingers crossed we wait for results. The platform we use is called LSAT Lab. I'd say it's pretty comparable to Seven Sage or LSAT Demon if you guys are familiar with those. It has really great explanation videos, pretty funny plot points, keep things interesting. a lot of basketball references, I will say, which I'm a huge fan of. Also has an analytics tab to break down questions, correct, incorrect, question types to work on, common reasons for missing questions, things like that. And what I found most recently is it has a really great interface that matches the new in-person LSAT UI as well. So transitioning to the real test was very seamless for us. They also have classes you can take in addition to the private classes that you will get with LEAP. Now, on to Patrick's LSAT classes with LEAP. He's incredible. The instructor's name is Patrick. He's the face of LSAT Lab. He's super funny and he always incorporates his own stories and jokes into our learning. In my opinion, he makes the LSAT way less intimidating and, dare I say, a little fun during our sessions. He's the exact same guy who makes the videos on each question type on the LSAT Lab software, so it's definitely more personal than should you go with LSAT Demon or one of the other softwares. We have classes with him every Sunday from March to August, and they're about 2 hours and 15 minutes. You can miss only 2 of these classes. Going back to the LSAT Lab interface, it has the function called milestones where he essentially gamifies the LSAT for you, which means you have to complete levels for each question type, which just means that each question is essentially ranked level 1 through 5 by difficulty, and you want to complete all 5 levels as possible. Reaching the final level typically helps you with higher scores, so those of us who are able to complete a numerous amount of like level 4s or 5s are the ones that are more likely to get a higher score on the actual test. And then also we have Mina's LR Boost class. Mina, again, is so incredible. We have such a great team here. She offers alternative strategies to approaching logical reasoning sections to kind of supplement those that we learn in LSAT Lab. So for example, I cherry-picked bits and pieces of her methods alongside Patrick's teachings just as needed, depending on the question type. And it really made it so that I could approach each question with a good open mind and multiple strategies at hand. So for Mina's classes, we meet every Wednesday from May to June, and it was about 8 sessions total, each 2 hours. So yeah, I think that's it for LSAT.
Awesome. Thank you for that breakdown, Reagan. And up next, the mentorship aspect of our program. So up next is Trinity to tell you a little bit about her experience.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trinity. So my favorite aspect about LEAP is actually probably the mentorship, primarily because if you're a first-gen student or don't really have anyone that was a law school student, obviously, you're going to get that impact and that visualization from the current student mentorship and current attorneys. So for the law school mentorship, I'll first touch on those. Those are going to be past cohort members who are currently in law school. So they provide their perspective on their experiences, not only in LEAP, but also as 1Ls or 2Ls. And they answer any questions you might have. And it was really, really helpful for me this past year because they were recently taking the LSAT just the year before. So they had a lot of insight regarding accommodations or how to study or even how to apply or even what to talk about in your essay. So really utilize that aspect if you guys get in because I really loved our student mentorship. Secondly, our attorney mentorship was very, very important this year. I love that for LEAP, they are very strategic and intentional with matching you with someone that has similar interests or someone that maybe may be in the field that you want to be in eventually. So I really loved that my mentors, I had actually 2. One was a bit older in his 30s. One was a recent attorney. She just graduated from law school last year. So I had 2 different perspectives. I had someone who was more tenure in their career, and I have someone who's brand new. And so I got to ask different types of questions and get to know different aspects about them to help me in my planning for my future and career in law. Additionally, our attorney mentors are able to come to our Saturday academies. So sometimes they come normally around lunchtime. You get to chat with them, learn about what cases they're working on. They, of course, ask about you. And I really got to get really close with my mentors. So it's really important that you really cultivate that relationship because they're there to help you. So that was an amazing aspect that I loved about LEAP. Additionally, I've gone coffee with my mentors. They meet up on Friday and Saturday, and their mentality is paying it forward. So a lot of times they're going to treat you because obviously not only do they have money, but they want to make sure that we're going to be the future. We're going to be future attorneys in this space. So they really take good care of you. And on that note, they also help assist you with writing comments on your essays, rather it's your personal statement, your diversity statement. Those 2 essays are typically expected at every law school. So they really help you tailor it to make sure it's to your liking. And they provide insight and perspective that you may not see at first. So I really, really have enjoyed that aspect as well, talking with my attorney mentors. And most importantly, they're also just in your corner. They are people that you can look up to, and they prepare you because they were once in your shoes. And so mentorship has been very important, I think, for us, again, as first generation or as a person of color. That is exactly something that we need to help get us into law school. So, yes, if you guys have any questions about mentorship, please let me know in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Trinity. And something that I'll add to that too is your mentors are volunteering their time, both the law student mentor and the attorney mentor. That means that they're here because they want to be here. And I would also say that you get as much of the experience as you put into it. It's okay if you're introverted. This is a really good opportunity to start practicing some of that networking with someone who's already rooting for you, who already wants to see you succeed. So keep that in mind as you think about the things that we offer in this program. And with that, I'll let Cindy tell you a little bit about the Pre-L Bootcamp and what that entails.
Okay, this will be real quick because this comes after our 9-month fellowship. So we really should say that we're like a 1.5-year fellowship. So you'll be applying. So if you are chosen to be in cohort 8, and we're going to talk a little more about the schedule, but you'll start next year in January, and you'll apply to law school next fall. So you'll apply in 2027 to start law school in 2028. And the Pre-L boot camp is for our fellows who get accepted to law school. So let's say you apply next year you get into LEAP, you apply to law school in the fall, you get accepted. Starting in January 28, which I know sounds really far away, but trust me, it comes fast. You will be going to Pre-L boot camp classes. Those are virtual, those are not in person. And you go once a month from January through July. And it's basically the bridge between being accepted to law school and starting. And I won't go into detail about what you learn, but it really prepares you for that first semester of law school. But you'll learn more about that once you're selected and at the orientation.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Cindy. And one of our fellows mentioned this earlier. I think it was Elvia. She mentioned like the power of just community as well. And so to tell you a little bit more about just outside of the structured programming, some of the takeaways that you can get from our program, we'll start with Charlie, and then Kit Kat will also share a little bit more.
Hi everyone, I'm going to be talking about community. So within the whole LEAP community, as some of my peers mentioned, that we do have like mentors, attorney mentors, law school mentors, but I think the core of it is each other. We have 2 cohorts in NorCal and SoCal. And really it's just about, I think the biggest impact has been being part of a community that are like-minded and have come from similar backgrounds to I have. And me personally, like I've never felt alone, and I may not be close to every one of my peers, but all of my peers have been like really welcoming. As well as like we have like a big group chat where everyone is able to text each other about any questions, or some people are like asking different things, but the main thing is like we're able to support each other no matter where we're at, and sometimes like late at night, early in the morning, as well as I think there's a lot of like networking opportunities because many of my peers like work at various organizations or have experience in different things, and I've been able to learn about way more things than I knew about, or the opportunities that are available. And within that cohort, we do have squads. I happen to be a squad leader, and I didn't know any of my squad mates, but we've been able to become really good friends over the course of the fellowship. We also do have a group chat, and like we meet up, and sometimes we do even like grab a beer or something after like a monthly workshop. But like that core squad has been like really supportive throughout the whole process. I think we've all like crashed out or felt various emotions throughout the whole process, especially with the LSAT, and being able to like quickly text or even call somebody and get that support has been like really helpful to me, as well as like we can carpool with each other to the monthly workshops or other events like that. And I think for me too, like the personal impact of community, like I'll share this. Like I am systems impacted and I wasn't totally sure like how my participation in this program would be, if people would accept me, or if like yeah, I just didn't know like would I make friends? Would I like fit in with everybody else? But I think since the first in-person meeting, it's been with welcome arms and I've been able to become really close to people and I'm really able to see that like even though during the law school process and traditionally most law school applicants don't come from our backgrounds, and to be able to really be in community with these people that know like what it's like to go through the things that we go through and to support each other in that way has been like one of the most beneficial things in this program to me. I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlie. And now Kit Kat will tell you a little bit about her experience.
Hi, everyone. So, you heard a lot about what LEAP entails, and I just want to say that it's very possible to balance it all, right? When I was in this room last year learning about LEAP, I was literally in the grocery store with my daughter, begging her to just not scream golden in the middle of it so I could listen a little bit more. Um, I am a single mom of a 3.5-year-old. I work as a chief of staff in law, and I'm in the program. And I mean, it wouldn't be possible without the village that I already have, but I would argue that LEAP was the village I needed in this process. I think as a first generation student, as a first generation will-be attorney, um, it can be incredibly intimidating to approach this and feel incredibly confident about my abilities, about, again, just being able to really uphold the standard that I want and that LEAP um, calls for, and law school it will call for, and becoming an attorney will call for. But I think that what LEAP really serves is guidance throughout every step going into this, right? You have the LSAT coaching, you have the workshops, which entail incredible panelists to introduce you to various laws, allows you to connect with other colleagues going through this process. I mean, Elvia and I were in a squad together, and immediately after the LSAT, I called her, right? At no point do you have to go through this alone? And I think that community is so important to recognize that, yes, this is an incredibly big undertaking, and you are so capable of doing it all. The fact that you're even in this room today demonstrates that you care, that you care to learn about it, you care to gain what you need in order to get to this next step. So, again, as a single mom who also works 9 to 5, I am so grateful for LEAP showing me that I could have a very full life, and becoming an attorney wouldn't minimize that just as much as, becoming an attorney would actually just allow my life to grow. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Kit Kat. And something that I'll add is I think Kit Kat said it really well, where we provide guidance. So we'll give you the tools, the resources, the guidance. You are just expected to bring the grit, the desire, the drive. We can't give you that. That already has to come from within you. We'll just give you the tools to make it happen. And with
One more thing. I'm so sorry, Lila.
go for it,
Okay.
Kit Kat.
One big element that I didn't mention in the balance is you do have to hold yourself accountable. Like, I very much would wake up at 5 a.m. to study for the LSAT. And at 5 p.m. when I would clock out, I was very privileged to have access to family, to watch my daughter take her to the park so I could study for an extra hour. Um, so routine really helped me personally, but you have the support and you have to hold yourself accountable as well in this process.
Absolutely. And believe Kit Kat when she says that there will be accountability within this program, even if it's not always coming from yourself. It may come from your squad members. It may come from either Cindy or myself. And so, yes, accountability comes in many different forms within this program. It may feel uncomfortable at times, but it'll feel really good once you're on the other end. And so now the logistical stuff. I know you have questions about this, like what comes next? How do I apply? I know you're all ramped up. You're like, I'm ready. Let's do it. Interview me. Let's take it a little bit slower. So our application will be open starting September 1st, and you see that QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. If you scan that, it'll take you to our website. That's where the application will be. You'll notice that it's not there yet. Again, check back September 1st. And so that application will remain open until September 22nd. Cindy, could you remind me until what time that application will remain open?
I don't know if it's going to be 12 or 5, but I want to say something here about the last day. I want to make sure, I want to discourage you from applying the last day, from waiting till the last day. And here's why. We use a system that is connected to Google. And when you apply, you're going to automatically get an email from Google saying that we have received your application. And I know a lot of people feel very, it makes them feel more relieved, like, okay, good, I did this right, because you're going to be uploading stuff to our website. If you wait until the last day, and this happens every year, Google has this weird limit where after 100 people have applied, they stop sending those emails. So if you are number 101, you will not get an email saying that we received your application. The problem is, if you reach out to us, we don't have the time or the bandwidth to answer that we got your application. So you will not know. So it really behooves you to do it by September 20th, maybe the 21st. But I really, really want to discourage you from waiting till the last minute. Also, if you have any issues with uploading, and let me tell you, every year we have people who can't do this, the PDF thing. We're not going to be there to help. We just, again, we don't have the bandwidth or the staff to do it. So I hope that makes sense and it doesn't sound too mean, but I just want to make sure that you understand that.
Yes, completely agree with everything that Cindy said. So let's say you go ahead, you submit before September 22nd, and then you receive some wonderful news that says you've been invited to interview. First round interviews take place in October, and then we have second round interviews taking place in November. Late November, we will go ahead and release admission decisions. So we'll let those who pass the second round know that they've been invited to join Cohort 8. And then in December, we'll have a virtual orientation. We don't have a date for that yet. We're still working out those logistics. Couple of things to note, even if you are not admitted into our program, we will let you know. We will not ghost you. So if you have not heard from us yet, it just means we're working really, really hard to get through your application. Please do not expect to hear from us before, like the end of November. We'd love to work faster, but we are only human. And like Elvia says, we really do take our time, right? Because we want to make sure that the person is not only the right like the right fit, but also like will contribute something to the program, right? Like it's not just about you being able to reap the benefits of the program, it's a symbiotic relationship. So how will you contribute to this environment that we're trying to create, this culture of the program? And so that's really, really important to us, and we take it to heart. So what exactly are we going to ask you in the application? Some of it is just the basic demographic information, name, email, phone number, all that good stuff. There will be some short answer questions. And so we want you to think ahead, look at those once they're released. Don't feel pressure to answer them right away. Please don't give one-word responses or like one-sentence responses. That's really an opportunity for you to tell us your why. Why law school? Why this program? What drives you? How has your community shaped you? Like those really important things that have made you you and that are motivating you to move forward in this career path. So really take your time answering those. I have, just my 2 cents on when it comes to AI. Still let it be your voice, your heart, your soul in the writing. AI, yes, it can make it sound pretty, but we can tell like when it's missing that like soul piece within the writing. So Please, just use it as a tool, but don't let it think for you. Don't let it do everything actively for you. You are a whole human with wonderful experiences, and you are more than capable, like Kit Kat said. Copy of transcripts. This one is a big one for me. So I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning, but I used to work in education for many, many years. I used to work in admissions specifically for many, many years. And so a small pet peeve of mine is when people do not follow instructions when it comes to transcripts. If you have attended multiple institutions, we require that you submit copies of each institution that you attended. I am not asking for your final transcript. If you were a transfer student, let's say you went from Santa Monica College to UCLA, I'm not asking you to only submit your UCLA transcript. That only tells me how many units were transferred. It doesn't show me the letter grades. I would like to see the letter grades. And so you will also need to submit a Santa Monica College transcript. And does it need to be official? No, unofficial copies are perfectly acceptable. We just need it to be complete and thorough. If I see that it does say on your official, like your final transcript from your four-year university that you did transfer, but I don't find that information, that means it is an incomplete application. And so we don't want that. That is a disservice to you, all the hard work that you have put in. I also need to be able to see all of the information that I am requiring of you, that I am asking of you. So please, please, please get on that now. If you don't have access to it, if you forgot your username and password for your community college, if that's the case, or maybe you transferred from one four-year to another, you still need to have copies of those transcripts. If it has been a while, then you definitely need to get on top of it because you'll need to start getting access to those records sooner rather than later. The deadline will not change simply because you haven't been able to access them because you have been notified very early on so that you can get on top of that. We will also ask for 2 references. This is another thing. Please listen to what I'm saying. 2 references, not letters of recommendation. We're not asking for letters of references either. We are asking just for contact information. So we will ask you for name, title, how you know them, and their contact information. We may or may not contact them. It just depends on whether we feel like we have sufficient information from your application. That'll be really important. Another really good point here is, let's say there's a part in the application, it's sort of related to references, but not quite. It's more of a referral. If anybody from the program, whether current or past cohort, has referred you to LEAP and you think they would be willing to like vouch for you and like how cool you are as a human, please go ahead and put their name down. If you know the cohort that they're a part of, put that in there too. If not, that's okay. If you forget, that's fine. But it just helps, right? Like if someone comes by word of mouth, then we're like, oh, okay, like let's make sure that we're taking a look at this person and hearing what they have to say. Obviously, make sure it's a really positive relationship because if it's not, then it wouldn't behoove you, as Cindy would say. And then your resume. Your resume is just to give us a sense of what have you done inside and out of school, in and out of school, right? So if you are still currently in school, what are you involved in? Sometimes people have to work while also going to school. None of that is a bad reflection, so don't freak out if you have more work experience than like extracurriculars at school. We're not looking for specific things. We're just interested in knowing like what takes up your time when you're out of the classroom or since having graduated. If you have done a post-grad program, very cool. Put that in there. We'd like to know more about it. And so that is really, really important. All of these application components, we would like you to combine them into a singular PDF document. So you are not going to be uploading multiple components. You will need to put them together, one single PDF, and then upload that bad boy. And I see that the Q&A is blowing up, so I will get to those questions in a bit. For now, let me just continue. I'm sure you're also interested in knowing, like, what are we looking for? So at minimum, you need to be a college junior. I will say this, for my juniors, if there are any out there, we do have kind of like a high standard for you all because remember, you are still within school. That means that there is still time if you have a okay GPA to have an even better GPA. And we want to make sure that this is the right time for you to join this program because your schoolwork, I know this may sound a little counterintuitive, cannot be a reason why you're not participating in LEAP. You can't say, well, I've got this assignment, I've got this thing that I need to do for school, and I can't make the LEAP workshops. Then maybe it's time that you reconsider and maybe apply once you're a senior or once you've graduated, because we can't make that, we can't use that as an excuse, but also you need to be able to balance both, right? You need to be able to balance keeping up your grades because your GPA will be important for your law school application. But we want to make sure, again, that it's not just the right fit, but the right time. So if you've already graduated, totally fine. That's okay. We're not asking for people to be in college. At minimum, they just need to be a junior, seniors, or grads, perfectly acceptable. This is important. Minimum 3.0 cumulative GPA. So if you have attended multiple institutions, that cumulative GPA between all of them should be at least a 3.0. There are no exceptions to this. We just cannot. 3.0 is our minimum. It's our cutoff. And so please, please, please keep that in mind. People will email us like, is there a way to make an exception? Unfortunately, there is not. We need to have a baseline at some point for our fellows. This is another important piece. You must be physically present in California for the duration of your fellowship. I know that sounds like weird language to use because if I say you must be a California resident, people think I mean like your legal status. That is not what I'm referring to. We just mean you need to physically reside in California during the time of your fellowship. So whether it's Northern California or Southern California, that's up to you. If you're in the Central Valley, you can choose which chapter to apply to. That's up to you. We don't have a preference, but you must be physically present in California. So if you are out of state right now, if you are a California resident, but like you're attending NYU and you're a junior, you would not be eligible because you would need to be physically present here. However, you could consider us for the future. Eligibility factors. So these are things that we may consider. It doesn't mean that you have to have all of these or you're not eligible. These are just some of the things. So if you come from a low socioeconomic status, if you are first gen, whether it's first gen law, first gen for undergrad, if you're part of the LGBTQ community, I know Charlie mentioned that he's system impacted. That is one of the markers that we also include. System impacted if you have experience homelessness, if you're undocumented, documented, if there's a disability that you have. There's so many other things. This isn't an exhaustive list. These are just some examples. There are many other things, right? Kit Kat mentioned that she's a single parent. Like if that is important to your identity, we want you to go ahead and mention it. So please, please, please keep that in mind. This is not an exhaustive list. Okay, you have heard us talk, talk, talk. Now is the time where we open it up for questions. So Cindy's going to come back online. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to look through a couple of these questions and some of these Cindy will answer live.
Definitely a lot of questions about if you're applying this year to law school, can you apply for this cohort? No, that cohort is actually the one that all these fellows are in. They applied last year and they're applying to law school this year. So I want to say this as oh my gosh, as clear as possible. If you are interested in applying to law school next cycle, so you'd be applying in fall of 2027 to start in 2028, LEAP is for you. If you're applying to law school this year, you don't need us. You've already taken the LSAT. You've already written your personal and diversity statement. You've already done your resume. You've already done all the things that theoretically you need to do. So you don't need our help. So I shouldn't say that. You might have needed our help, but unfortunately it's too late. So I hope that makes sense. Also, regarding what Lila just said about where you live, we have tried in the past to allow students who go to school out of state. They promise that they will fly in every month and it just doesn't happen. And so unfortunately, we now have the requirement that you have to, like Lila said, physically be present in California, because you will be starting in January. Actually, January is our first in-person event. It's our welcome reception / speed mentoring. It's when you get to meet the attorneys. That's in person. And starting in January all through September, you're going to be going in person. So that's why we now have that requirement. regarding the 3.0 GPA, there are a lot of other similar programs that have a much higher GPA threshold. We have found that if you're below a 3.0, for us, it's just hard. It's hard to help you to get into a good law school. So we have the 3.0 is, there's really no exceptions. Now, I know that some of you will apply who have below a 3.0. Just know we put those applications aside. Lila will review them, but you need to have that 3.0. Okay.
Are you ready for questions?
I'm ready for questions. I saw that the fellows have been answering a lot. So,
Love you.
Actually, let me do this right now because I'm going to be curious because now you've heard everything, hopefully, that you need to know. So we are going to do, maybe we're not going to do. All right. I'm launching this. I'm just curious. And let me let's see what the answers are. Okay. All right, I'm just looking to see because we have a lot more people who haven't. Obviously, you don't have to answer this, and clearly this is anonymous, but I'm just kind of curious. Okay, and thinking about it, by the way, you should not be applying unless you know you want to go to law school. I think the fellows would all agree with that. Okay, end poll, share results. Okay. So it looks like a majority of you are yes, a few of you are no, and a good number I'm thinking about it. So yeah, that totally makes sense. Okay, Lila, hit me with some questions.
All right, when applying to LEAP, what are some characteristics in someone's application that you might be looking for?
I'm going to say story. Yeah, it's your story. Are you someone who is going to be an asset to our legal profession? Are you someone who we think, and of course we don't know this for sure, that you are going to be committed to being a part of the LEAP community? Are you, a team player? I don't know. Do the fellows want to answer add anything to that?
I think I commented, a little bit on that question actually. I do find that there is a common theme from everyone that I know in the cohort. It's just everyone has their why really set out already since the start. They can write it down if they need to. But I think that's what really shines through in your application. The what can really shine through and really help emphasize to Cindy and Lila, why you're sure about going to law school. And that's really what this program is. I do see a lot of questions too of what if I'm not sure, or what if I'm still thinking about it? Don't apply to LEAP. Don't apply to LEAP. Because also speaking as incoming senior, so I was a junior the previous year. It is really difficult, and it is a lot of sacrifice. And if you don't want to sacrifice the tailgating, the parties, the hang out with your friends junior or senior year, don't do it yet, just yet. Take your time. Now, there was a lot of reasons for me about why I wanted to do it now, and I really made sure to tell that to Cindy and Lila. And in my interviews and in my essays, this is what's different about me, and this is my why, and this is why I need to do it. And I think that's what really helped me put my foot through the door. And so I think that would be my biggest advice.
And something that Sorry,
go ahead,
Cindy.
Lila.
Something that I want to add too is, I see a lot of questions and I'm trying to answer them. What if you're not 100% sure? And Alvia just touched on it, right? You need to be 100% sure, not just for your own sake, but I really want to put into perspective just what it's like, right? There are several pipeline programs, absolutely, but the demand for the services that these programs provide is higher than we can all provide. And so we all wish we could accept as many people as possible, right? But if you are not sure and you end up taking the seat of someone who was sure, and later on you just decide, you know what, I don't think I really want to do this anymore, but it's already too late, it's too far into the program that we can't replace you with someone else, that is a disservice to both yourself and to the community at large, right? And that's not to say that you should feel guilty for taking up a seat if like maybe you're struggling. That's not what I'm talking about. You're going to struggle. That's the whole point, right? We're not taking away the struggle. We're just providing community. Oops, I think I froze. Community and support as you go through the struggle. But we really, really want you to be sure. And to answer the earlier question about like what we look for, Cindy and I have narrowed it down to like the 3 C's. Commitment, so commitment to this program, commitment to everything that we're asking you for. Community, you have to be community oriented. If you are just thinking it's all about me, myself, and I and what I can take away, we are not the right program for you. Communication, we need to know what is going on. If something does happen, if life does happen, we're not going to blame you for that, right? Like it happens every cohort. Things that are out of your control, that are unexpected happen. And that may be why you haven't been participating in LSAT, right? We are not mind readers. I know, hard to believe. But if you don't communicate it, we won't be able to know about it. And if you're too shy to communicate with us right away, that's why you have your squad leader. Your squad leader is someone that you can turn to who's a peer, who's closer to you, that you can confide in if you don't feel ready to talk to us right away. And so, but you need to be willing and ready to talk about those things, right? And so please, please, please keep that in mind. Cindy, I know you were going to say something else, and I know we're coming up
I
on
know, and I feel like it was brilliant, and I can't remember what it was. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, let's see. Do, 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 do. I guess we could share this. I guess how many fellows are in each chapter? How many roughly get accepted?
So we have the Northern California cohort and Southern California. And between those two, we usually pick about 60. I mean, don't hold me to that. It depends on how many apply. I will tell you, so you can do the math. Last year, we had over 400 people apply. So what, you have a 1 in 6 chance? I don't know. I'm not good at math. That's why I went to law school. So it's very competitive. I mean, I am not saying this at all to to discourage you, but UCLA Law Fellows is similar. It's very competitive. SEO Catalyst. I mean, any of the better programs, and I'm going to include LEAP in that, are going to be competitive, but you should not self-select out. In fact, that's something we talk about a lot in LEAP. But I think it'll be around 60. And we don't know how many would be in Northern California versus Southern. Last year was the first time that our NorCal chapter was bigger because we had so many more people, so many more really good applicants applied from Northern California. So it just, every year is different.
And then another question that I have for you, some people are asking about like who interviews them? Like who are they talking to? It's not just Cindy and me, I promise you. You see more faces than just us.
So the first thing that happens is every application is read by 2 different people. Then the second round, and not everybody, obviously not everybody gets interviewed, depending on what your score is, and we have a rubric. Then you're going to go to interview round 1. You will be interviewed by, you could be interviewed by a staff person, by an attorney mentor, by a board member. So that's round 1. Then if you make it to round 2, now round 2, that's like the next step after round 2 is you're picked as a fellow. So round 2 is, oh, and by the way, those interviews are virtual and they're usually like 20 to 30 minutes, one-on-one. You will be interviewed one-on-one. Round 2, you're interviewed by both me and Lila. And last year we started a new process and I loved it. You get interviewed 3 people at a time. So there's 3 of you in the group. It's really for more time commitment than anything. And that'll be in November. And then, excuse me, after that interview, then we pick the fellows. And like Lila said, at every step of the way, if you're not making it to the next round, we will let you know.
And then I see some really great questions. I'll take these on transcripts and grades and all that stuff. So some people have asked about dual enrollment, like what if I was taking these classes while I was in high school? If they are college credits and college units were earned, then I will want a copy of that. There's also another piece that I forgot to mention in the application component. So at the very end, there's usually some type of question where we ask, is there anything else that you would like to talk about? If for some reason, like there was a dip in your grades, or maybe like you feel like your grades are not representative of your abilities, talk about that. That's really an opportunity for you to talk about yourself, your story from your perspective without the grades defining who you are, right? But if we just see the grades and we don't really see an explanation, Cindy or not and I are not going to spend the time like speculating. That's not our job nor our place, but it is an opportunity for you to give some insight, right? So anything you include can only help and like provide context for what may have been going on during that time. And so we welcome it, we invite it. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that. Let's see. Oh, who could they recommend references from? Like who could they list as references?
Oh, this is what I was going to say. Okay, so it has to do with references.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lila mentioned this. If you are friends with a fellow, you need to put that he or she or they recommended you to LEAP. But don't put the name if it's someone you follow on Instagram. Like that's not a reference. So it's got to be someone who, like I remember for some reason, LV, I remember that you knew Isidro and he recommended LEAP. And if you put the name of a fellow, if you don't know what cohort they're in, that's fine. But I will tell you that we will contact the fellow and ask them, hey, Charlie, this woman Lila applied to LEAP. She claims you referred to her, you referred her. If you didn't, if they don't know you, that is not going to look good. So, but please put, if a fellow has recommended you, please put that. In terms of references, and remember, there's no letter of recommendation, it's just a reference. It can be a professor, an employer, not a friend. It is, please don't put a friend because that's not a legit, like you would not use that for law school. So think in terms of law school, think in terms of college. Like who would you ask to be a reference for you?
Exactly. Let's see. These are all about references. Oh, what about reapplicants? Any tips for them?
Well, first of all, every year we have reapplicants and every year we admit them. So do not self-select out. If you applied in the past and were not chosen, please reapply. And we're not going to look at your application from last year, by the way. Just we don't we don't have time for that. So I would change your application a little bit, but yes, you should apply. There's no penalty for reapplying.
And you can reapply as many times. Like we've had fellows reapply like a third time, and on the third shot, something is just different about their application, or they've come in interviewing stronger. That it does happen. So
Yes.
please don't self-select out if you were an applicant from last year. I know sometimes you're wondering, like, what did I do wrong? It's not necessarily what you did wrong. Sometimes it really is just a numbers, like we just don't have the bandwidth to continue to admit more people or pass them on to the next round. Other times it just depends on like who's in the pool that particular year. And so it varies from year to year. So I think you should be happy that it's not a formulaic thing where we're looking for X GPA plus this many extracurriculars equals an admission into the program. That's not how we operate. It is most certainly a holistic review process, which is why it is so time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. I know we're at 7:03.
Yeah, no, we
Oh,
still have time.
perfect. Can the resume be 2 pages or should it just be one?
I mean, law school is different than LEAP, so it doesn't. There's no minimum. It shouldn't be longer than. I mean, none of you should have a resume longer than 2 pages. If it's longer than two, oh my God, that's too long. But it can be one or two.
Mm-hmm. Um, Someone asked, is post-undergrad GPA relevant? So like if you participate in some master's level program, we'd still like to know about it. But the reason we ask for your undergraduate GPA is because that is what LSAT will be using to calculate your GPA. And so it gives us kind of some idea as well. But they will not use your graduate studies to factor into that GPA. It will still be reviewed by admission people in law school admission folk, but it will not be factored into your actual GPA. So good for you to know. Oh, someone asked, have veterans been a part of this program? Yes.
Yes, and I would love to get more. I'll tell you, I would love to get, in terms of underrepresentation, more veterans, more foster youth, more, yeah. I mean, those are the two right now that I can think of. But yes, we have had veterans in the past. I'll tell you what we're looking for. We are looking for underrepresented voices, right? So if you're coming to this webinar, you've probably been following LEAP. You see what kind of fellows we have in LEAP. We're trying to get more people onto the bench who are not represented there, and that's a lot of the eligibility factors plus the other ones that Lila talked about, which are not exhaustive. That's what we're looking for. And again, that comes out in your story.
And then another question I have, and I don't think we've addressed this yet. What about those individuals who have been a part of other pipeline programs? Like, let's say they were part of UCLA Law Fellows. Are they still able to apply? Are they still eligible? And how is that considered in the process?
Yes, yes. You can apply. I will tell you, if you get to the interview with me and Lila, we will definitely ask you, why are you applying to LEAP if you were already in a program? Two reasons. One, it's a resource issue. If you have already been in a program and you've gotten resources from UCLA Law Fellows or the Davis program or the Irvine program, we're looking at like, well, this other person has had no resources, so we're going to favor them. And then also, I'm just always curious why you're applying to LEAP when you were already in another program, but you are not penalized at all. Yes, you can still apply for sure.
And we have had people who have been a part of another pipeline program and then joined LEAP. One thing that is incredibly important to note, though, and this is a big no-no, is you cannot be in two programs at once. And we will find out. It's best if you disclose it. It doesn't matter if you are, let's say, admitted into one pipeline program as you're applying to ours, and then you choose the other one. We will not be, there's no hard feelings. We won't be offended. Because again, that means that that's another spot that can open up for someone else, right? So we won't be upset with you. We will be upset, however, if that information is not disclosed, because like Cindy said, that is a resource allocation issue. And so now here you are benefiting from two programs while someone else has none. And so we just don't find that that's equitable. And we want to make sure that as many people as possible are using the resources that are available without abusing them. Oh, someone asked if you know your LSAT GPA, should that be listed? Yeah, so we will ask for a GPA. If you know your LSAT GPA, you can put it in there and just put in parentheses LSAT. That's really helpful for us. And yes, there will be a recording of this Zoom session available. It may take a few days for us to get it ready. And
well, you would have to email me and ask me for it.
yes.
Yeah, we're not going to just send it out to everybody. Just so you know, we had well over 500 people register, and half of you came, which is always, for some reason, it's always half. So there's so many who didn't come, and we just don't have the bandwidth to send it. So you would have to ask us.
All right. And then what about people who have applied to law school, but now they would like to reapply because they didn't get in the one or two times that they applied in the past? Would you welcome those candidates to apply?
Sure.
Awesome. Will not having a lot of work experience due to parental responsibilities look unfavorable?
No. That's an easy answer.
Yes. I'm asking it so if there are others who this applies to, they can hear it.
Right.
Oh, great question. Someone asked, do they need to pay for the application? There is nothing, we will never collect money from you unless you're making a donation on your own.
Well, we might if we ever order t-shirts, but other than that.
No, but that's an optional thing.
Yeah.
But no, we will never ask you for money for the application. We will never ask you to pay for the LSAT lab. The whole reason you're applying is to get access to these free services. So no, if you ever receive an email asking you for money and it claims that it is Leap asking for an application fee, that is not us. That is spam. Ignore it.
Yeah.
Yes, spam that thing. I mean, put it in your spam folder. Oh, someone asked a great question. Is there a wait list for this program?
Every year we have a wait list. So what happens is we will make offers and let's say 60 people say yes, but we do have a wait list because inevitably after orientation, when we really talk like nuts and bolts about what we expect, some people realize, you know what, this is not the year for me. This is too much because it is a lot of work. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of work. And we're very structured. That's another thing we didn't really mention. I find that students need structure, and so we are very structured. If that's not in your personality, this is definitely not the program for you. But what happens in December is, let's say a couple people say, you know what, I know I accepted, but I've changed my mind. Then we go to that wait list.
Exactly. And there are people every year. I know you would think like who would take this opportunity and like then turn it down. But no, I think that first of all, I think that's a very mature thing for someone to recognize, like, you know what, I can see what's being asked of me. I can see how much is expected of me, and this may not be the right time. Again, you heard me say it earlier. It's not just about being the right fit, it's about it being the right time. And I think it is a huge disservice to yourself if it's the right fit, but not the right time, because then other things may be taking up your mental space, your emotional well-being, and you're not able to maximize everything that this program has to offer. However, if those things are in alignment, you can really reap the benefits in ways that you don't even understand yet.
So there were questions on here also about the acceptance rate into law school of our fellows. And
Oh, good one.
it's a really high acceptance rate. So if you do everything we tell you, and a lot of that has to do with the LSAT, going to class every week. I mean, these fellows will tell you, going to class every week, it is a marathon. It starts in March online, so it's virtual. Every Sunday, you might skip one from March through August. Think about that right now. Every Sunday for 2 hours and 15 minutes, you're learning about the LSAT. I would want to put a fork in my eye, but I already took the LSAT. So, oh my gosh, I just completely lost my train of thought. Okay, wow, it literally went out of my head. LSAT, okay, nope. Wow.
Uh, um, oh, someone asked an interesting question. So, if you took AP classes while in high school and you got college credit, that is very different. That will not appear on your transcript anywhere, like a college level transcript. I'm only talking about if you were in high school and participated in dual enrollment. That means that you took classes in partnership with the community college, got college credit for that, even if it was applied to your high school transcript. They're college units. That means that there was a record at some type of junior college, community college, with a GPA on it. Those are the ones that we want. If it is just AP credit, IB credit, that is not something we need to know.
And by the way, so I'm seeing that a lot of that our fellows have put their LinkedIn or their email on here. One of the things we talk about all the time is networking. This is when you're already starting to network, which is awesome. If they're telling you to reach out to them, I would reach out to them. If you have questions, because they're going to answer questions in a different way than me and Lila are going to answer them. So I really appreciate it, by the way, from the five of you, that you're offering your time, because LEAP is very community driven. And I mean, you heard it here when they were talking about it. So if they're saying reach out, then you should reach out. All right, let's do one last question because it's almost 7:15 and the Dodgers are going to start.
My goodness. Um, let me see. Some of these are repeats. That's the resume question. A lot of these are repeats. Oh, actually, this is a really good one. Is there an age limit? Someone says that they are a non-traditional student with more years of work experience and, they might be slightly older than our demographic. Like, are they still eligible?
Yes, we have lots of non-traditional applicants and fellows.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I completely agree. Well, I think that's it. All the other questions are similar to what we've already responded to, or the fellows have responded to those questions.
Okay, so, all right. We have come to the end. Thank you so much for your time. So Elvia and Kit Kat, Charlie, Trinity, Reagan, thank you very much for taking the time to come. You guys can come back on camera. And for those of you who want the recording, definitely, reach out to us and we will send it, like Lila said, in the next couple days. September 1st is when the applications come out. So good luck. I wish you all luck. It sounds like a lot of you want to apply, so that's great. And we'll see you in a couple months. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Hope to see you soon or see your application soon.